Starting the recording again. And go. Hi, honey. How are you?
Good, good. Happy to finally get the chance to talk.
Likewise, likewise. Where are you now?
I am actually in Miami right now. I am where
Oh,
this is my hometown, and
beautiful.
since we're home, I
That's awesome.
enjoy the weather, right? Where are you?
I'm actually in Boston, but hey, who knows? Maybe we get into some sort of good deal here, and I'll go down with going down there with you.
Dude, you don't know how to say it twice. We got the beach hookup, so you tell me when.
Oh man, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Well, I don't want to take too much of your time, man. I just heard that you guys are in need for some help with your enterprise solution monitoring, especially Office 365. And I think I've got something that might work for you. So just a couple of minutes, I'll tell you what we've got. If there's some good fit there, we can keep talking. If not, I'll just buy a plane to Miami and meet you there for some good margaritas.
Absolutely.
Sounds good?
Yeah. I'm glad you reached out. One of the reasons why I was, I had my associate reach out to you guys as sort of like a, lead, interested lead was, we're sort of juggling a lot of different systems right now, and we're having some issues with Office 365 now that we're, pandemic world and COVID world. It's been kind of a nightmare to sort of monitor 365 across everyone's devices across the globe. And the bigger issue is that, we're working with deals that are, happening, in light speed in a lot of cases. So, we just don't really have enough time to be able to monitor everything that's happening, and be able to be responsive in a fashion that's, appropriate for the time it takes for a deal to close. The second thing is, we're dealing with a lot of partners here at Goldman, and, they're working on, very sensitive deals. And obviously, we need a monitoring service that can respect a bit of that privacy, but also will give us the needs and tools that, again, that's sort of like a secondary issue, but it's sort of important to us as well. We want to be able to ensure that the bankers can have sort of transparency with their clients and not think that we're, completely, monitoring them.
Great. Yeah, that makes sense. And I hear you. Anyway, I can't imagine how COVID has kind of just increased the difficulty of your job now. And if I hear you well, the privacy part of it and just the sheer volume are the biggest concerns. Am I correct with that?
Yeah, particularly with the Office 365, just because it's in a bit of a new domain for us. And don't get me wrong, like I think, we're thinking about a lot of other platforms too, but right now the Office 365 is really where most of the communication is happening.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And I'm guessing you're probably hearing from a lot of people about this problem across the organization every day. Are you?
Well, so it's funny that you say that. It's not necessarily that I mean, look, I'm the IT, so I kind of feel like a lot of people with these kinds of things sometimes see me as sort of the IA, the internal affairs, which is really not the case. Really, what prompted this was one particular breach that we had with a junior employee who forwarded basically transaction information to an outside party, and we really just had no ability to stop that, and that actually ended up adversely impacting on us on a fairly important deal. So, and of course the junior employee didn't even do this by mistake. He's just a junior employee, kind of not knowing the ropes, and that's not something that we can really control for. So, I realize on one hand, this is sort of like one particular use case, but this one particular use case cost us a lot of money.
Right. So then, knowing this problem, what would you say is your ideal solution?
My ideal solution would be sort of at least some sort of function that can, if there's an email that's getting distributed to a outside third party, that there's an opportunity for us to quickly monitor and make sure that, for example, if we know that there's important legal documents getting distributed by a junior employee, again, this is something that I think we'd have to work with your professionals who hopefully have some experience here, but the idea would be to have some sort of filtering system that we would at least be able to monitor and make sure that that information can be resent back to our servers without it hitting the client server, or if it does hit the client server, that we can at least have some mechanism where we can jump in and be like, hey guys, like that's private information, it was sent to you, to the degree that we can.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that, Johanna, because that's exactly what we are best at right now. That's what we're helping P&G do. Like they're not dealing with billions of dollars of investors, but like that industry is really competitive, and making sure that everything is monitored is really important for them. And I think it's something that we can do for you as well. Can I ask a little bit about how does the timeline look from your end, and how does the process look from your end? Like, who else are we looking into?
That's a great question. So we're looking at a couple of vendors. We've had some deeper conversations with Infosys. That's probably and Accenture. Those are our two leading candidates, just because they've done similar things in the past. And while they're more consultative, they're kind of building an approach for us. So it's sort of like consultative / build.
Right.
And what I'm interested too is maybe that there's an already ready-made built solution in the market, which is why I think Exoprise seemed like a really phenomenal solution. So it'd be really great to get a sense of if you could tell us, like, maybe you have some sort of both pricing and timeline that maybe I can gauge against some of the other options that I have.
Yeah. So in terms of timeline, I'm thinking we do have the turnkey solutions if that actually solves your problem. But it sounds like it might be a little bit more complicated. And the same would apply to pricing, right? Like, we have the turnkey pricing, but it might be a little bit more complicated. I do know, though, that the problem that you're presenting is something that we can totally solve, and we can probably solve it faster than some Accenture guy, and for a lot less money, because we're not doing the whole consulting role. So what we can probably do here is, how about we meet next week? I'll do the whole demo for you. I'll bring a couple of the a little bit more technical guys on board, and we can find how much exactly would the perfect solution for you cost, and how long it would take us to get it to you.
I think that's a great idea. And to be honest, like, while costs are important, the sort of cost benefit is more important. So, the fact that we can potentially lose a lot of money and be liable to legal, and negative press is way more important than the cost of this project. So I want to make it clear, yeah, like, obviously we're going to be, cost is important. That's not our number one priority. Our number one priority is getting the right solution. So I think what you propose is a great idea. I think we should get, I'd love to get my director of IT, who's going to be on the ground. His name is Jared. I'd love to have him. He's got a great background, went to Princeton, is an IT guy, graduate student from MIT.
There you go.
So he speaks the language, and I think you guys should talk. I'll be in the room because I kind of manage that budget. But I think that, if you bring your tech guys and, have them meet with Jared, I think that'd be like the right next step.
Perfect. So then what do you say about next Thursday, same time?
I think that's let me check. That sounds good.
There you go. Well, I'll see you next Thursday then, Eugenio, and looking forward to it.
Thanks a lot, Nelson. I appreciate this call.
Take care.